And so, in the United States, at least up to now, critics of jihad and Islamic supremacism, and those who dare to speak publicly about how it is in contradiction to constitutional freedoms and has to be resisted if we're going to survive as a free people, so far, we are not being actively targeted for assassination. The assassination is of a different kind. It's character assassination. And the same thing that happened to the filmmaker is the same thing that is going to happen to all the rest of us, and the same thing that is going to happen to all of us in this room if this continues as it is going now. There are already hate crimes laws on the books in the United States. You know, if I come to you and pull a gun and take your money, then that's a crime. But if I come to you and pull a gun and take your money and call you a nasty name, that's a hate crime. Now, it's exactly the same crime, but if I call you a nasty name, then the penalties are worse, especially if it's racially tinged. So, that's a hate speech law already. We already have hate speech laws in the United States. Now, so far, the implications of that have not been drawn out, but they will be. And they will be drawn out like this, that people who dare to quote the Quran, who dare to quote the Islamic authorities, who dare to quote the Muslim Brotherhood's agenda in the United States, who dare to speak honestly about what Muhammad was and what he said and did according to the Islamic traditions, they will be charged with hate. We're already being charged with hate all the time in the mainstream media, but the apparatus is already being put into place to make this into statute, into law. And what will happen if we are all gone from the scene and silenced? If we're all in prison like the poor filmmaker, or if we are all fined until we can't do anything else and, you know, and I'm tending bar somewhere or something, what's going to happen? The same thing that happened in Boston, only on a much larger scale. You're going to see attacks like that every other week. Because it will be that much worse than it is now. Right now, we're still able to have this meeting. Right now, this is being filmed and it's going to go up on YouTube. Right now, I can still write books. Geller still writes books. We have the website. I have Jihad Watch and she's got Atlas Shrugs. And there are other websites and publications and other people who are fighting for freedom and are out there speaking about these issues truly and honestly. Right now there are. But if we're all gone, then we're going to see a situation that is like what we saw in Boston 10 times squared. We're going to see not only the FBI not knowing what to look for and not knowing how to understand what they see when they do see it, but we're going to see nobody out there who is equipped to deal with this or to explain it or to help people understand it. And then what's left? Then it's just a matter of the dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making us into an Islamic state. There'll be nobody to resist. Nobody will be able to speak out.
Like Pastor Niemöller.
Yes, precisely like Pastor Niemöller. There was a young man in the Fort Dix area. You remember the Fort Dix 6? Fort Dix was the site of a jihad plot a few years back, but it was foiled. And that's why some of you might not have heard about it, because of course the foil plots are very important, but they don't make news like Boston does. Now, the Fort Dix plot was foiled. A group of Muslims was going to go into Fort Dix and kill as many American soldiers as possible before getting killed themselves so they would go and get the virgins. Which is in chapter 9, verse 111 of the Quran. Paradise is guaranteed to those who kill and are killed for Allah. Allah said it. Anyway, the Fort Dix 6, they liked to watch jihad videos. They liked to watch, like the beheading of Daniel Pearl, gruesome, bloody stuff like that. They loved it because that's how they were. They thought it was pleasing to Allah. But they had them on VHS tapes. So they took them to a video store And they asked the kid, this teenager, behind the counter, if he would convert them to DVD. And so he was working to convert them to DVD, and he sees all this horrible stuff going by. And so he went to the manager. Now, I got to give this kid credit. I don't even know his name, but he foiled the plot. And we all owe him a debt of gratitude. But he almost didn't. Because when he went to the manager, he said, I saw these horrible, bloody things, and I think these guys are up to no good. Should I call the police, or would that be racist? Now, we laugh and it's funny, but think about it for a minute. Why did he even think? Why did he even hesitate? Why did it even occur to him that it might be racist to uncover this plot and to go to the police? Because of the number they've already done on us in regard to any truthful speech about this matter. If you talk about it, you're racist. I'll bet all of you in here have friends or relatives who've called you racist or bigoted because you have told the truth about the jihad threat. And this shows the effectiveness of this campaign. And so, the Second Amendment is under grave threat. The First Amendment is under grave threat. All it takes is 5 justices, you know, to a test case and 5 justices to say, yes, hate speech is not free speech and enjoys no protections under the First Amendment. And that could happen very easily. Sotomayor and Kagan, the 2 Obama appointees on the Supreme Court, are already on record saying there should be restrictions on the freedom of speech. And so, in conclusion, I have to emphasize to you that this all is disturbing, I understand, but I am not being alarmist. And I am not being hysterical. These things are happening now, and they're happening quickly. I don't think it's too late. I was born in South Carolina, and the state motto of South Carolina is Dum Spiro Spero. While I breathe, I hope. And so there is always hope as long as there's another breath. But the situation is very dire, and it is very important for all of us, every one of us in this room, to understand that we have to fight this battle wherever we are, in whatever situation, and whoever we're with, whatever our talents are, whatever our time is, whatever our resources are, we have to fight this. Nobody else is going to do it for us. The government is not going to do it. Law enforcement is not going to do it. We have already seen, we're just beginning to see, the incredible consequences that are certain to come from their denial and obfuscation of the Islamic Jihad. It's only going to get worse. So, it is up to us as free citizens to put pressure, to stand up, and to make as loud a noise about this as possible, to put pressure on the media to tell the truth about this, to put pressure on our governing officials to make this an issue. I still believe that freedom can prevail. And if every one of us begins to act, then it certainly will. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're very kind. I have